Yes, indeed. The music returns, the video returns, and we have returned. Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome, everybody, to a Saturday stream. It is March 21st, 2026, in the year of our Lord, etc., etc. And I hope everyone is doing well and is excited for tonight's session, day 44 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, a chaotic convergence. I'm sure everything will be fine, and in no way is that going to reflect any actual chaos. What could possibly lead anyone to believe that? It's good to see everyone. I hope everyone is doing well and is excited for our session today. We have got a bunch of stuff going on over the next couple of weeks, but tonight is Expedition, so I'm excited for more Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. Before I go any further, just a couple of notes about ways to support the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. Please check our, consider checking out our YouTube, ! ArvTube. And apologies for those watching on YouTube who are wondering why I'm not playing Winterboro, because I forgot to change the live message there. I am not, in fact, playing Winterboro tonight. I'm playing Expedition. So anyway, ! ArvTube for that. Discord is ! ArvCord, where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams, and Blue Sky, ! ArvSky. Please do join me over there and follow me over there. I always post about when I'm going live and about various things relating to writing, politics, music, gaming, a whole bunch of other things. ! Blue Sky for that, and ArvSky, and ! ArvTrayon, I mentioned that too. Well, actually, and the website for this is arvaneleron.com. Now, financially, ! ArvShop, that's the merchandise area. ! ArvTrayon is the Patreon. Cool stuff for you and cool stuff for the channel. Subbing to the channel is always appreciated. Get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. And if you have not already done so, on the publishing side, ! Icarus, my graphic novel from Athos Arts. ! Library is my Tales and Tomes, the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And ! Greyshade. Greyshade IP, Greyshade, Renegade and Heretic, the Grey Assassin Trilogy, available at that link. Award-winning, critically acclaimed from Athos Arts. You can also get the audiobooks now of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks at those links, at that link for Greyshade, Renegade and Heretic. And you can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade, which is coming to you from Alligator Alley as well, and being designed by our very own Brandon O'Brien. You can pre-order that, and I'm very excited about that, which will be coming out in the next couple of months too. Again, all at that ! Greyshade link. Last but certainly not least, ! BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. ! Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And ! Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage. And send the message, we'll do so for others in the future. Also, love, prayers, thanks, care to the people of Minnesota and specifically Minneapolis for their bravery in facing down and fighting, and over time successfully fighting federal occupation. It's not over there, but they are showing the way to the fight, and they are winning over time. And so thank you to everyone there who is doing all of that good work and leading the way for all of us as we continue to fight those fascism in this country. We really appreciate all of that, and we love you and we see you. Couple of notes about schedule. We've got Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks going on today. Then we will be off Sunday, Monday. We will be back on Tuesday when we will have a busy day. It looks still not 100% sure if our vocalist is happening Tuesday night or if it's happening the following Tuesday. We will find out soon, but when we do, that will be Citizen Sleeper 2. But we definitely know that we will be doing D&D with viewers next Tuesday, which will be Up the Beanstalk. We started that a couple of months ago. We're going to continue it on Tuesday. We'll also have the final vote for the Chat Chosen Game of the Month at that time. Then I will be over playing some Evoland 2 over on GOGCom's Twitch channel with Pen and Pixels. And then that night might be the Our Vocalist, or it might be the following Tuesday with Citizen Sleeper 2. So I'm excited for that. Then we have got, I believe, just give me a second. I think we have coming up after that, as I pop this up to make sure. Then we'll be off on Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday with Winterboro, and then Saturday, and that might actually be coming close to the conclusion of Winterboro on Saturday the 28th. It's possible because we got a lot of progress done last time, so we may be finishing or close to finishing as of Saturday Winterboro, and then we will have the Patreon Field Chat Chosen Game of the Month the following Tuesday, and more Pen and Pixels before we put an end to the month of March. March and get ready for April. Welcome to spring, by the way. We are now officially in spring, and it is starting to feel that way. I went out cycling on Friday for the first time this season, and then again today. And I also found out, by the way, quick side note, in case people don't realize this, I did not know that bike tires have a kind of valve that some bike tires you need to not only unscrew the valve cap, but then there's a little thing you unscrew in addition so that you can actually inflate the tire. And if you don't do that, no air is actually getting into the tire. So I'm like, man, this is really hard to bicycle today. And I must be like, am I out of shape? Nope. Wasn't out of shape. Had nothing to do with that. It was because my tires were underinflated because I didn't know how to inflate them. Now I do. So anyway, I was very happy to do that. But we are here today now with some Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks. And so I'm going to unmute myself and let the folks know we're ready to go. I apologize for anyone I interrupted because I couldn't hear them. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal to you the crew, or I should say 3/4 of the crew, because one of our number, Zach, is not going to be with us today. Zach is doing, get this, y'all, Zach has got tonight a paid DM gig. I mean, listen, like, I was like, look, it's either, be here for your friends or commit or just sell out. And he went for the greenbacks. No, I'm just kidding. We knew about this for quite a while. This actually is Zach's job to do that. And I have a big announcement coming up soon about something that Zach and I are going to be doing in the summer, and you will not want to miss it when you hear about it. It's very exciting. But in the meantime, Zach is not here tonight, but you should follow him on all the things, and you'll see him for the Our Vocalist. He will be back with us next month. So it will be up to the rest of this crew to make sure that Jaraxxus does not buy it during the course of the campaign today. And if he does, we know who it is to blame. But we have everybody else here, and specifically, I'm going to introduce everybody, starting with Rhiannon, who is at the top left. It's good to see you, Rhiannon. How are things? I have to ask you, I did hear you briefly just when I was coming in and we were chatting in the green room, and I heard the word snowpack. And the reason I bring this up is that Jen, who lives not in Oregon, but lives in Washington, so still Pacific Northwest, has been talking about, Jen Brozak has been talking about being worried about the snowpack because, I don't know, it's like 50% of normal or 60% of normal. So was that what you were talking about? Like, do
Yep.
you have worries about snowpack where you are also? And how are things with that? And then also, who are you playing today? How's the
Well,
snowpack?
it's because it's such beautiful weather, and it is shouldn't be this beautiful yet,
Yeah.
and we haven't had enough time to. So good for now, but I look ahead. So
Mm,
I want there to be enough water that I can keep my garden alive come August.
yeah, no kidding.
But I'm not trying to like grow crops or anything. So my little tree, go on, little tree, you
Go
can
tree,
do
you
it.
could do it.
It's not quite old enough yet to just sort of be like my other trees are. Anyway, so I am playing Sataria Verbin, half elf, divine soul sorcerer. So she's really into the healing, not so much into the bedside manner.
Yeah. Did get a chance to study some bones in recent sessions as well.
Forensics,
Forensic.
that's
It
going to
was,
be
yeah,
a
no,
new
absolutely.
specialty.
Literally forensics for sure. I am excited to see what Sataria gets up to, especially since we are now heading out of the Centurion and more back into the, in quotes, fantastic realm. It'll be interesting to see. This, I think there will be, I will just give you this one little heads up, Rhiannon, which I do think that this will be this next section is going to have some Sataria adjacent sections, let's put it that way, where I think there's going to be some testing going on of Sataria. So I'm excited for that. Always a pleasure to have Rhiannon with us. Also a pleasure to have one Toya Kristen Finley with us. Toya, you're officially past the exploding trees stage, I imagine, of Tennessee weather now. How are things by you, like weather-wise and everything else-wise? And who are you playing tonight?
Yeah, so I was at GDC and returned last Saturday. Last Saturday it was 75 degrees. Then Sunday hit and it was in the mid 30s and we had a tornado watch and bad weather. And then 3 days later we were back in the 70s. So
Great.
again, that's not climate change. That's just Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um, the dogs aren't happy with allergies. The humans aren't happy with allergies. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
I will be playing Nals Darkly tonight, also known as Nalik. She is a human bard.
Very excited to hear what she gets up to, and I'm going to say something in a minute, Chad, about these folks are going to introduce you to some new things about them because they have level to level 6. So we got some cool new stuff, at least some cool new hit points anyway to talk about. Always a pleasure to have Toya with us, and also of course pleasure to have LaShawn with us. When we first started, LaShawn was being overwhelmed by the power of sun, but I think now has managed to everything has calmed down a bit, and it's not blowing her away at this point. It seems like with light. How are you doing, LaShawn? How's everything weather-wise and all other things wise by you? And who are you playing tonight?
I'm keeping on, and things are okay, or as well as could be. Yeah, we had some freakishly bad like snowstorms on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and freezing rain and all that, and a good foot of snow dumped on us.
Jeez.
And today it is 74 degrees. So all the snow has melted and it's nice outside and the sun is shining and
That's fine. It's
yeah.
Nashville weather. Wait, you're not in Nashville. What? That's
No,
I don't think we can
I'm in
blame Nashville. Yep,
Madison.
yep, yep.
So yeah. So I will be playing Raven Gallender,
Mm-hmm.
and in a way she's kind of like me right now. She is just done.
Oh man, I hear that. Well, I am looking forward to seeing what Raven gets up to today. All right, I'll work backwards then. So I'll start with you, LaShawn. So Raven has now reached the dizzying heights of level 6. So
Yes.
can you tell me do you want to highlight some cool thing that has happened with Raven, and also tell me about hit points now that we're up to new level.
Yeah. So Raven managed to she's got a little bit more hit points now. She's got 41 hit points. That's her
41
max
hit
now.
points. Okay.
Yeah, 41. Although she's kind of half that at the moment because she probably needs to regenerate and get a full rest.
You
Um,
actually will have benefited from coming into this from a long rest is how I'd rule this. So I would say you're 41 out of 41. So wait, you went up from
okay.
28. You were at what was your maximum before? Weren't you at
It was 28,
it was
yeah.
28. So you jumped up a lot
Yeah,
from this. I
yeah,
see. I see. Okay.
yep.
All right, I'm excited about that. Any cool new feats and or spell or talents or anything like that?
Well, she's got a new thing called Ego Whip, um,
Nice.
which is kind of like she can emanate a stinging wave of psychic energy from her body. So she's got that. She's also got this thing called Mind Blank, where she can use an action to basically end herself from being charmed or frightened. So, so yeah, this is cool because like yeah, she's past the point where she's no longer traumatized by things. She's like she's just now chill. She has reached Nirvana. She is Zen. She's like, nothing scares me anymore. I've stared into the abyss, and the abyss
Mm-hmm.
is me, kind of thing.
I
So,
love the ego whip thing because it's like a lot of the psychic abilities in D&D had these things like thought intellect fortress and stuff like that. So I was just thinking about you're either whipping someone with your ego or you're whipping their ego. And I could think of several politicians who could use an ego being whipped. So I look forward to seeing that deployed. Good stuff. All right. I'm excited to see what Raven gets up to with that brand new 41 hit point total. Very cool. Thank you, LaShawn. All right, Toya. So as we move up to Nulls, or move on. I don't mean that in the wrong. Moving up. I mean just moving over laterally to Nulls. So tell me what we're looking at in terms of hit point totals. Did you take the average, or in accordance with the prophecy, are you going to roll and let the hand of fate guide the actions of your hit point totals? I'm curious.
See, I didn't know that was a thing. I just leveled up and it took me from what, 38 to 45?
38 to 45. Gotcha.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that was a thing. I
That's
just
okay. We'll leave it there. That's fine. That's a kind of running joke with my other crew where they're like, no, the average. They're like, no, we'll do it this way. No, that's
Okay.
fine. So 45, 45. Now, do you have any cool new things?
Yes,
Now?
a couple of things. So at level 6, there's a new spell.
Okay.
So I chose Crown of Madness,
Crown of
which
Madness. Nice.
is a humanoid of your choice that you can see within range, must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become charged by you for the duration. While the target is charmed in this way, a twisted crown of jagged iron appears on its head and a madness glows in its eyes. The charmed target must use its action before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if you choose no creature or if none are within its reach. On your subsequent turns, you must use your action to maintain control over the target or the spell ends. Also, the target can make a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. On occasion, the spell ends. And it's like within 120 feet.
That is pretty slick, and it
So,
feels like it'll fit. It'll fit a lot with what Nulls has done in some stuff.
yes.
Also, you
So,
get a bonus that Shinedown pops up and starts singing the Sound of Madness when that spell is cast. So a
My
hard rock
P-
band accompanies you immediately.
my PC has been the victim of that.
Yeah,
From the,
yeah. Crown of
the
Madness.
villain,
It is a
so.
very like evocative spell. I always thought so. That's cool.
So there is that, and then there's also, because of the college that Nulls belongs to
Mhm.
as a bard, gets Spirit Session at level 6,
Okay.
and that's once a day. She can choose a spell that is either a divination or necromancy spell. She has to perform a ritual with, I think it's 3 other willing participants
Okay.
to learn a spell. But the one that I'm going to start out with is actually one that Zach pointed out, called Wither and Bloom.
Okay.
So you invoke both death and life upon a 10-foot radius sphere centered on a point within range. Each creature of your choice in that area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 2d6 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. So it's going to mess you up either way.
Okay.
Non-magical vegetation in that area withers. In addition, one creature of your choice in that area can spend and roll one of its unspent hit dice and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your spell casting ability modifier.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
then
life to your allies and death to
right,
your enemies, basically.
right.
Okay. Okay.
And
That's
then
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. I like the idea of it. For some reason, I put those two things together in my head: the Crown of Madness, and then that, and I just started thinking about like Scarlet Witch from Marvel, like this sort of like combination of this weird sort of semi anti-hero sort of terrifying figure that can do stuff. So I am interested to see how that looks. Also, by requirement of law, it is important that you say "wither and bloom" in a very witch-like way. It's that has to work.
Wither and bloom.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It also sounds like a very bizarre store in the mall, like Abercrombie and Fitch, Wither and Bloom. Anyway, anything else cool, Toya, from Nulls?
If I got anything else with level 6, I am unaware, and please let me know.
Okay.
But that's all I know that's new.
Sounds good. I will double check, but I think that sounds right. All right, that's awesome. I'm excited to see what happens next. All right, Rhiannon, what has Sataria gained in terms of coolness at level 6?
So she just got a new spell.
Okay.
And I think that was the only thing. A few more hit points. And the new spell, because I had gone with the focus that had more damage spells, and I'm like, so do I do a damage spell? Do I do it? So, but there was a really cool healing spell that it was now available, which is Mass Healing Word.
It's a good one.
So that's up to 6. So that's what I did.
That's a good one. I mean, that definitely is a legit one. Now on the hit point front, how did you handle that?
I took the average.
Okay.
Because it offered me the average. And I was
Meaning
like,
you ended
that's
up
cool.
with, so what is that now?
26.
26. All right. 26. That feels a little low to me, Rhiannon. At level 6?
It did to me too, but I went in the character builder and let me see.
Because the app because it would probably be D8, right? Would be your hit point die. It's your hit die is a D8, I'm assuming. Is that right?
No, it's a D6.
Oh, it's a D6. Okay. So that would be 36 if you maxed it out. 3 times
Yep.
6. Well, okay. All right. Maybe so then. Although there's the con bonus, but do you have a con bonus?
I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay. All right. Well, then that makes sense. That could be, later on down the line if the sort of feat. I could imagine a feat being taken for toughness that might improve that a little bit. But all right, I was just checking. No, that does check out then. All right. Well, then Nullis is at 45. Raven is at 41. Sataria is at 26. We don't know about Dr. Jaraxis. We're not going to have him level up unless we absolutely need to for some reason tonight. I don't think we will. All right. So we will see how that goes. Awesome. All right. Let us talk about what happened in our last session, which was a bit of a doozy, everybody. Let me fire up some music here. In our last session, we'll put you inside that ship. In our last session, the crew, the we few, we happy few, found family of Sataria, Nulls, Raven, and Dr. Jaraxis ended up closing a gate that was leading to the shadowy realm of the Caridin. It was not an easy thing to do. There were some danger signs in terms of creatures, that man was not meant to know, etc., coming out of the doors. But they were able to, with some alacrity, were able to close that door, and then were able to teleport back up to the main ship level. And once they got back into the room where they had seen a glitched out hologram, they met an artificial intelligence which identified themselves as Elsie. Elsie explained what had happened, basically that the Centurion had fallen and had been taken down by a virus, the same virus as it happens, or at least the same experience that was had by the Sunrider, which Dr. Jaraxis rode in on, basically the same kind of thing. So that was a little troubling as to why those things would be the same thing. Elsie also explained that as the Centurion had sort of fallen to the ground and crashed, Elsie was able to discover more information with details about the anomaly that had begun to infect the ship. And as it turned out, the anomaly had infected it not just in terms of a computer virus, but in terms of an actual virus that turned people into psychically controlled slaves of the Caridin, which sounded real familiar to Sataria and Nulls, who have seen stuff like that, and especially Nulls more recently, who have seen that happen with the Primarch. But Sataria also had seen this happening with the people of Celis, and so on. So there's a lot of that going around, apparently. Because as Elsie was able to determine by analyzing it, it turns out that Thalos, the planet on which they landed thousands of years ago, had been a realm of technological wonder, but there was a century of war, and a faction of creatures that were known as technomancers, known as the Caridin, merged with their own creations and created these basically horrible sort of shadow beasts that hunger for the extinction of life and the restoration of their own power. The Century of War basically drove the Caridin out to their own plane, known as the Convergence, but the Caridin were not destroyed. Somehow the Caridin returned. The Caridin were not destroyed. And their existence, though the knowledge of their existence had faded, there were tales of this famed sort of metal city of the gods. And so slowly and carefully, the Caridin began to reach back out over various conduits into the world of Thalos and gradually began to influence those on this planet. And some of them, we've already seen examples of that. 2 of the Primarchs have been influenced by them. And every veiled realm, aside from Celis, was created from the remnants of Magitech, which was the technology of the Caridin. That's a problem because it means basically that every one of the veiled realms is at risk, right? Because the Caridin could reach their way through and could influence everybody the way that the Primarchs have been influenced also. Which means that there is only one alternative. If the party is going to stop the Caridin before all of Thalos is consumed in their darkness, and if the Sunrider is going to get functional so that at the very least Jaraxis and Raven can get back to where they were going, Draxus initially on the Sunrider, and Raven, who wants to get back to the ship from which she was taken originally. The only way to do that is going to be to stop the Carradine, to permanently block them, to basically close all the gates, virtual and otherwise, to lock them in the convergence permanently, and also to restore the Magitech Forge, which will allow them to build powerful items and devices to basically ensure that the Carradine won't be able to escape again. There are 3 parts of this Magitech Forge which need to be found: a control unit, a data unit, and a reactor core. And there is a lead, which I'll talk about in a moment about that. One thing I do want to mention, though, and the reason I'm taking longer on this recap is to basically give people a sense of things, because we're going into a new chapter tonight. Setaria and Raven were both drawn here, and apparently part of the reason they may have been drawn here is related to this strange intermingling or merging of the world of the Convergence and the world of Thalos. And as these gates begin to open, and as more of the Carradine's influence is felt, there will be sort of weak spots, basically, where things like that can happen. And if the weak spots can rise all the way up to the level of far galaxies in space and drag someone like Raven down here, we got problems, not just for Thalos, but frankly for the Silrain arc more broadly. So the party knows now a little bit about what it has to do. The lead that I mentioned is that the Forge's control unit, according to the data that Elsie has, was moved to the first laboratory of the one who had created these things, Daltus's first laboratory, which is a tower in the region known as the Moonstar Mount, something which Setaria may have heard of before, actually. The data unit was brought to the city of Arkendis. Moonstar Mount is a region in Evisaria, and Arkendis is a city that was destroyed during this massive explosion that led to all of these problems, basically, on Thalos, and has the realm of Arkenvale within its ruins. And also, Moonstar Mount is the site of a convergence gate, which means visiting Evisaria could allow characters to both stop the Carradine's plans there, close the gate, and also recover the Forge's control unit, and that might be helpful. Speaking of Elsie, last point here, Elsie also gave one of the party, and I think it might have been Knowles that took this, but correct me if I'm wrong, the focus band, basically this sort of portable unit that allows you to communicate with Elsie and basically bring her along in some capacity. Also, Elsie is capable of communicating and translating with Gamork, the dire wolf that has accompanied the party for some time, although Elsie's rendering of what Gamork is saying may be a little bit more sanitized than the party might be expecting from Gamork, but in any case. So can you confirm that, though, Knowles? Do you have that focus band that has Elsie associated with it? Do you see that on your... Okay,
Yes.
I just want to make sure. Cool. All right, so that's the deal with that. So we begin basically where we left off, which is the party has had a long rest and is ready to leave the ship. Where does the party want to go? Because you have Evisaria, which is the one that was suggested by Elsie. You could go, elsewhere also, but there is a little bit of a time. I don't want to overdo the time pressure thing too much. Like, it's not like you have to get to the next place in 2 hours, but it's not like you can just wander around touring Thalos because the Carradine continue to rise. So,
Well,
what's the party want
before we actually leave the ship,
Mhm.
I want to make sure, because Gamork is not quite sure of Elsie, and Elsie is not quite sure of Gamork. And
This is true.
I would like for Knowles to be able to try to explain what is going on to
Okay.
both of them.
Okay, you can definitely do that.
Are we even with Gamork right now?
I
He
would-
went back
that-
up to the
yeah.
room where...
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And now that you close the gate and Elsie has control of the ship's functions, that's why you were able to get in all the rest, because now the security robots are all shut down and she has control again. So, and I should. She's definitely not listed. She is not. It doesn't seem like she describes herself as non-binary. She often refers to herself and presents as femme presenting, let us say. So that's why I'm referring to her as she and not they, or it, which is not
Yeah.
at all.
I think she would take offense to that.
Yes.
But yeah, so Knowles is going to say to Elsie, please repeat this exactly as I say it. Gamork is very particular.
Very well. What exactly would you like me to say?
And please say this as Nulls and not as Elsie.
And then there's a pause, and then repeats back in a little bit of a troubling way, Knowles. Please say this as Knowles. And it does sound a little bit like you speaking back to yourself, actually rather disturbingly so. And then there's a pause, and Elsie's voice says, I do not wish to offend. If that is too close to your voice, please let me know, and I'll be happy to adjust.
Unexpected, but very acceptable.
And so Elsie says, well, all right then.
And so Null says, this, and she has the hologram of Elsie pop up.
Okay.
This is Elsie.
Gamork is like,
Her pack was also slaughtered by the same cowards who led to the death of your comrades.
And Elsie says to you, as Elsie, the wolf that you call Gamork says that the ones that slew his pack were powerful, but that I do not look like a wolf to him.
Well, are we not in a pack now? Do I look like you?
His reaction is neutral. Which does not exactly sound what his growl is like, but you all know by this point for Gamork that's probably pretty close.
Elsie has hundreds of years of knowledge on these things that took your pack from you, and she is willing to be our ally.
And Gamork goes over, takes a few steps forward, and his great head kind of sniffs at the hologram, and then Elsie translates. He says, I smell like nothing.
Well, she is a projected image. She is part of a machine in the best way that I can understand it. She comes from the stars, like Jaraxxus and Raven.
And Elsie says, Gamork says he does not like machines.
Well, I can understand, and all of this is new to me too. But sometimes we don't have to like them for them to be beneficial to us.
And so Gamork kind of, again, sort of pads around you and the hologram, and then sort of looks up and kind of glances, again, can't see, but I mean, like, turns his sightless head in the direction of all of you, and then says, then growls. And Elsie translates that as, he wants to know why you're willing to trust something that you've only just met.
Let's not say it's quite trust, but it could grow into something more. Did you trust us at first?
And Elsie says, he says he doesn't entirely trust you now. That
Well,
wasn't quite the language he used.
I'm not shocked at all. I think we feel the same way. And what happens when someone loses our trust?
And Elsie says, that was not a word.
Well, we all know the answer to that.
Very nice, Triff. It could grow into something Gamork. Yeah, I like what you... I see what you did there.
All that is to say, Elsie, is that could you please share with Gamork everything that you shared with us and about the Caridin? And if you could, make it as gruesome and grisly as you can. He might appreciate that.
So Elsie does do that. To jump out of game for a second, if you remember in Return of the Jedi, C-3PO explaining the story to the Ewoks, right, where he's like, "Oh, and then Captain Solo," right? Like, you get a little bit of like Elsie is very dramatic and like repeatedly, does some stuff, and of course, since she's translating this, you can hear, and she's doing a lot of this. And he's they're kind of growling back and forth. And when she has finished her story, Gamork sort of is like, doesn't growl or react at first, and then just sort of sits back on his haunches and says, and Elsie says, "I'm not entirely sure if Gamork believes me either, but Gamork does seem suitably angry at these circumstances that he will be willing to accept me. He seems to feel that you all have become a pack that he is connected with, even if he is still not sure what to make of this pack. He also said that he would like to, let me see if I can phrase this correctly, rip out the throats of every one of the creatures of shadow."
Ah, that's why we understand each other so well, Gamork and I.
Do you feel that this one is entirely, and the hologram kind of looks back at him, stable? And Gamork is sort of looking off to the side. I keep saying looking, not looking, but the head is turned to the side. And Elsie says, "It appears that he is quite strong, but also volatile."
No, he is a wolf. He has lost his entire pack, his sight. But he has been there for us when we needed him, and we have been there for him.
There's a pause, and then Elsie says, "There is one other matter. When I was translating and speaking with Gamork, something came through to me. I have some ability, at least limited ability, to be able to receive sensation when I am in contact with creatures like this, although most of that power derives from my connection to the ship. Once we leave the Centurion, I will be much less able to do this. But I am able to sense some physical sensations. Were you aware that Gamork is in constant physical pain?"
That has been, I suppose, an unconscious knowing.
"I believe it has something to do with the experiments that must have been done upon him. The mechanical and electronic sinews and connections that connect to his body are probably running current through it at a certain way.
And at this,
Yeah, go ahead, Rudy.
At this Raven, who hasn't really been paying all that much attention, is suddenly starting to pay very much attention to this. Just to let you know.
Okay. Yeah.
So is this something that we can all hear, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, you're all able to hear it. Gamork obviously theoretically can't understand it because he's speaking in the equivalent of common. But yes, you can all hear this. And Elsie says, "I believe there may be a way to repair this, but I don't know that I can do it yet. It is possible that the Magitech Forge could, upon some repair, be capable of, let us say, severing some of these connections without injuring the physical host below. In the meantime, if you wish, I could perhaps reduce the pain that Gamork experiences. It would require his acceptance, for I would have to enter the mechanical systems that operate around his body, and it will not remove it all, but it could reduce it somewhat if you choose."
Well, yes, I would love for you to be able to do that, but as you said, It would have to be his choice. And if I know him, he may want the pain as a reminder. But please do ask him.
And, oops, sorry. And Elsie sort of nods and turns back and speaks. And Gamork, who is sitting after about 10 seconds, stands up and all sort of forepaws, growling, and you can see hackles raised, right? And is just sort of like moving its head back and forth, and then growls fiercely and turns away and sort of pads away where it's just there. And you can see the tail kind of switching back and forth a little bit, which is not the norm for a wolf. And you can also see the hackles continue to raise. And Elsie, the hologram, turns back to you and says, I don't know that I was entirely successful. Gamork is, first of all, not sure whether he can trust me, and also, as you suspected, Knowles, apparently believes that the pain gives him some power. But at the same time, it is, for living creatures, the case that they can become adjusted to many things. He may not know what he is currently missing until it is restored to him. To give him less pain without taking away his intellect, his agency, this may be something which would benefit him, even if he cannot see his way through the pain now to agree to it.
He is proud, and he is honorable. Let him find his own way to the truth, whatever that is for him.
Elsie nods. Very well.
Now I also have a question for you. Your name is Elsie. Is that a play on the letters L and C?
It was something which the captain believed. Well, originally I was referred to as the elevated computerized unit, and then like babbles off like 15 words in a row. And like Raven, I would say even you used to sort of the technical knowledge is kind of like, what? Like after about like the 7th word. And Elsie says, but in the end, the crew began to refer to me simply as Elsie when the captain did, and it seemed appropriate. I, appearing in this form, was more of a comfort to the crew. So yes, it is a play, I believe, on my original full title.
And Nulls, so as I remember correctly, Nulls can speak with Elsie telepathically.
Yes, that is correct,
Right?
because you've got
Yeah.
the focus band, yes.
So she asked Nulls a question. So she asked Elsie a question that nobody else can hear.
Okay.
And she says, when we first encountered you, you asked me if I were Caridin. How could you possibly think that I was one of them?
At the time, I was doing nothing but fighting Caridin. After 400 years of battling one creature, I suppose even I see shadows of it wherever I turn. I am grateful that you have taken away what you might refer to as a nightmare in closing the gate. I apologize in my mischaracterization.
Oh, I understand nightmares and shadows, and seeing them bubble up in memories. You don't have to apologize to me, although I do thank you.
Elsie turns and says to you, Sataria, when you choose to go to the realm of Avosaria, I should warn you that, well, from what you have described of the place that you came from, there will be magic in this place, at least magic, I think, as it is understood by the people here on Thalos. But there is something strange about the area, too. I have limited access to it, of course, mostly just general senses of what the area looks like and what the region is. but there are continual references to something known as the Change. I don't know what it means, but there are also references here to sorcerers and creatures of magic might. From what you have described, this seems to also partially describe you. So, you should be aware that this area may be a challenge that you will be partly uniquely qualified to address.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like made for me. Satari is a little sort of like cocky about it. Magic doesn't bother me.
There are towers of bones everywhere. No, it's just Forensicville. It's just like forensic Disneyland. Okay, so having done this, then I have to ask: is the party headed out? And again, I'm not trying to direct anyone any particular way. What is the party's feeling about, having had this conversation? What's the party's feeling about where they are headed? You notice, by the way, that Jaraxxus seems to be staring off into space. Doesn't seem very focused today.
Taking in all the new information.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yes.
I've got a question too. So there's Avisaria. There's that. So I got a while back the bagpipes to try to break up that crystalline structure, which we discovered is Am I pronouncing it correct? Solarium.
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 Oh, no. Sorry, not solarium. Sorium is what you mean.
Sorium.
Yes.
So the crystalline structure we discovered is sorium.
Yes, although one quick note, yes, but the stuff that you see on the surface is basically the burned out kind of like surface version of it. So like where you are down here and the farther down into the caves you get, the more actual sorium it is. So what you see on the surface and the thing which basically is currently surrounding / partly, attached to the Sunrider, which is the ship Jaraxxus came in on, that is sort of like burned out crystal might be the best way to describe it. By the time it gets to the surface, according to Elsie, it no longer has quite the same energetic properties. So I'm just letting you know.
So where is that massive crystalline structure when we were at that market we were told about?
So there is, that's the stuff that is partially surrounding the Centurion. And the farther that you're underground in like the Twilight Realms, the closer you are to that crystal. There are also crystalline structures elsewhere in Thalos, and in fact, let me see if I can get to the. Let's go to the overland map. Okay, we go up here, and let me move the party ribbon there. Okay. Right, so you folks right now are over. Let me bring this so that everybody can see it, actually. Chat as well. Okay, so right now, you folks are over here. This is the... Here we go. This is the Centurion crash site that you can see there. And so these are the barrier peaks, hence the name of the whole adventure, Expedition of the Mysterious Peaks. And this is where a lot of the crystalline structures are greatest around here. The crystals in the mountains are almost partially fused together. And so a lot of the sorium content and power is from here. However, over in this side, here is Celaspire, and this is something which Sataria would be familiar with too. Celaspire, which is where this enormous destruction happened when this war happened with the Technomancers and everything else. Arkenvale, which is the one that where supposedly some of the area could be found, is here. And Arkenvale is a place that was also partially consumed by the destruction wrought by the Celaspire. So that's all a very fancy way of saying that there are crystalline structures in various places throughout all of the area of Thalos, but the greatest concentration of it is here, right around and further below the Centurion, and then there is some crystal to be found here around Celaspire and also Arkenvale, two sides of the Ashen Wastes, basically. And then there are several other deposits around, like the Ice Dark Mountains and things like that, where some of the crystal is also infused here. So the mountains are the greatest concentration of it, is the overall point that I would make about that.
So that challenge that the particular vendor gave to Knowles with the bagpipes,
Yep.
was it for the area that we're in now?
You don't know, because remember, the vendor themselves probably have not been to the Centurion, right? There was a time when it was made very available to people, but that has not been the case for a while. But has certainly heard stories of it. So it's possible that they meant around the Centurion, but it's also possible that they're referring to the much more above ground of Cellaspire. That could be what they were talking about too, Knowles. And the vendor, it's been a while now, but I think looking at my notes, I think the vendor did not specify which crystalline area specifically.
Well, if there's a thorium to be mined here, and like a lot of high quality thorium,
Yep.
I wonder if we should try to do that before we leave, because number one, we'll have thorium, but also we can go back to the what's it called? That room where the forge was,
Mm-hmm.
and we use the thorium to upgrade weapons and spells and things like that.
Two things about that, just so you know. One, the forge is not going to be able to produce anything else until you've restored some of these like parts that it's missing. Like it's
Okay.
not just energy; it's a matter of like having the machinery necessary to power it, to control it. The other thing is you have no way to refine it, right? So like
Okay.
it's like, taking straight coal and being like, throwing it at an electrical plant, right? Like, it needs some work before that happens. So you could certainly mine it, and if you were to let people know that it's now safe again, that the Centurion is safe, you imagine you could probably get, this guy, your boy Doomig Rieger,
Yeah.
and people like that might be able to come back and start reopening it, and making it more available. Whether you would be able to mine it, I'm not sure that you have the capacity to do that. Although you could certainly try to get a crystal, piece of crystal or something like that. Also, you not having encountered Saurium before, you don't know how dangerous it is in its raw form. Also,
So I'm glad you brought up Doom McGregor, because we were actually having this conversation while you were setting things up.
Okay.
I don't know how this would work mechanically, but since Knowles and Elsie are connected telepathically, could Elsie also send messages the way that Knowles does?
It would not be able to do so over great distances. Like basically
Okay.
is capable of connecting to you telepathically, but not to people beyond the focus band. It's possible maybe you can find like some computer system, and Raven and Jaraxxus can help you figure out how to upload, the consciousness of Velocity. I don't know. I'm literally just thinking out loud. Maybe, but not normally. Wouldn't be sort of like broadly capable of telepathy. Yeah.
But I do think, and I want to ask the rest of the party, do we go ahead and let Doom McGregor know that the Forge and the Centurion is safe to use again?
I think we should.
Yeah.
I
Why
think
not?
so too. That was going to be my first suggestion anyway, was to go back to the forge. So sure.
So Knowles can just send that message.
Okay.
And it has to be 20 words or less. So
Yeah, for sending. Yeah, I think
So-
it's 25. I think it's 25
Okay.
words or less.
the Forge in the Centurion is safe to use again. That's
Okay.
10 words.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We have defeated the enemy here.
For sale, baby shoes never worn.
Yeah, 16 words. There you go.
Save some thorium for us. We should say that.
Okay.
Save some
Mhm,
thorium
yeah.
for us. 21 words. There we go.
Okay. Excelsior, sign Knowles, comma darkly. Okay, right. Okay. All right. You will send out that sending. Now, when they receive it, you will be able to get a reply, but it's not necessarily immediate. So, okay, Knowles. So you're able to send that out in a sending spell. Make sure you note that that's what you use there. Okay. What about everyone else now that we've done that?
Ready to go.
Raven, what say you?
Raven will go wherever anyone else will go.
Okay.
She is fine.
Jaraxis seems surprisingly compliant. Just willing to go on.
Well, Jaraxis is ready and willing for adventure.
I'm actually Satari's a little tempted, like hearing that Gamork has something wrong with him, to like just sort of cast a little extra healing spell on him.
Okay.
But I don't know if she's gonna get bit because I don't think she would think to check beforehand. She'd just do it.
Okay. I like it.
So.
I like it. Okay. So that's fine. Are you doing something that requires touch, or are you doing something from a distance?
So I can do it without touch, but I don't think I would spend that sorcery point.
Okay.
So
You would
yeah.
just walk up and touch him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of be like pat the head.
Okay. So when you do that and you pat the head at the same time healing, there is a interesting moment where Gamork whirls and seems like furious, so much so that you think, Sataria, this is probably not just like you think probably Gamork's in a bad mood for some reason, beyond the norm, and whirls around. And as your healing takes effect, Gamork sort of and sort of growls again, and then turns away slowly, although keeping his great head, sort of his sightless eyes sort of kind of looking off and just sort of staring back at you, or not staring back at you, the head turned back to you. And Elsie pipes up, the hologram pipes up and says, he seems unsure as to why you would want to heal him, and has made some comment about healers who go where they're not wanted, but I don't know what that means.
Well, okay, that's me told.
But at the same time, his growling drops, and you might notice that he's perhaps a little more sanguine as he walks along. Are you doing, Triffid, the reach out and touch Gamork? Reach out and say heal. Okay. So, as you make your way then out of the ship, as I understand it, we are now looking to sort of head towards to sort of head out of the ship and down towards where Avisaria would ultimately be. So, as you leave, you actually leave from. Do you remember on the? Let me bring you back to the engineering deck for a second. You remember in the engineering deck there was this moment where you were all looking for. Let's go there and go there. Where you were all trying to figure out why there was this space here with these like ice frozen doors. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it seemed like they were cold, and in fact, I think you might have even spent some time trying to get them open at one point, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah.
So, once you get down here, you notice that there are a lot more lights, kind of like whirring and or lights flashing, and there are sounds of things whirring, and everything looks considerably more, up and running, albeit not at complete full power. And when you get Elsie brings you there, and then unlocks the southern bay door here. And the door unlocks, and when it unlocks, there's a sort of moment where the door is kind of like still held shut by this ice. And then Elsie says, the hologram is not there, you just hear her speaking. And she says, "You may want to take a step back from the doors. I believe there will be some need to provide a bit of heat to this situation. And she waits to see if you will do that, like stepping back from the ice-filled doors. I don't know if you ran right up to the doors anyway, but so she sort of looks at the doors, and then you can see there's kind of this glowing. You start to see this faint glow, and then glow, bright, and then you see the doors kind of shaking. And then there is this hissing sound, and you can see that cables on either side of the door they're sparking a little bit, and then after a minute there is this like crashing sound, and the doors grind open, and like ice falling and like water also falling from them. You see a lot of hissing steam on the other side of this. You think that probably Elsie was somehow able to heat the doors to get them open. And when the process is finished and the doors are open, you can see that there's a small outcropping that slopes down into a rocky mountain path. And at this point, Elsie, again, not visible, says to you all in audio, basically, if you proceed down that path, it should lead to a wider path at the base of what you call the barrier peaks. And if all goes well, assuming we don't encounter anything along the way, you will be able to head west from there toward Avosaria. I don't know an entire amount about this other than the general ways to get there. After that, it'll be up to you. But it at least seems like the map information I have means there should not be too much difficulty, at least for a while, along our road. And she kind
Now's
of
the
falls
time to
silent.
head on out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you set off down the way. As you move further away from the ship, the sense of kind of ominous, mystery and sort of troubling experience that you had sort of gets left behind. And as time goes on, you feel yourself becoming a little bit more at ease as you move away from the site of where the gate had been. Let me see if I can get... Nope, not that one. This is what I wanted. Let me see if I can get some music appropriate for the occasion for this journey here, which is definitely not the inside of a ship. Ah, perfect. Mountain Pass, everybody. It's exactly what I was hoping for. Okay. All right, there we are. Good. Okay. Several days pass, and it takes about 2 days to get all the way from the Centurion to the exit, basically, of the mountain pass. And as I bring us back over here to the map, you'll be able to see more or less where that is. Let me move the party here. Okay. All right, heading over towards the area of Avosaria. Now, one thing that I want to note here about Avosaria is I mentioned, Sataria, that you have heard of this place that's called the Moonstar Mount. And the Moonstar Mount is significant because it has three distinct peaks that kind of make it up, sort of three prominent mountains that make up that area. Each of the peaks is unique and has its own name. So you know the three peaks named to be Tauven, which is Tauven, Null, Nul, and Posidius, which is Positias. And these three mountain peaks sort of loom over this forested area that Avosaria is sort of a part of. And you have heard about strange things relating to technology and magic, but particularly that there are these wizards that are associated, like this wizardly order that's associated with this area also. But you don't know a lot of details because they've been very secretive, even, for a long time. And so the information you have basically is sort of a legend. You don't really know a lot about what's there because there's not usually much reason to go there. It's sort of self-sustaining, and the people there don't spend a lot of time hanging out with anybody else. But you've heard legends of this place, basically. So yeah. All right, and as you are sort of making your way down here over the course of several days, a couple of things to note. First of all, it gets warmer the further down the mountain pass you go. Secondly, it's extremely quiet, so quiet it's a little bit troubling, actually. It's not dead silent. There is, like, some wind, and occasionally you hear the cry of a, hunting hawk far overhead. But for the most part, it's very quiet, and you don't really see, other than that thing I just mentioned, a lot of life besides your own as you kind of go down through the mountain pass. But it is getting warmer, and the sense of kind of ominousness and, dread sort of fades a little bit as you all make your way down the mountain pass. Also, Elsie turns out to be extremely helpful in making suggestions about places where Gamork could possibly hunt. So there are several places where Elsie's kind of like, basically says to Gamork, you could go and hunt in this area and find something. Gamork goes and finds something, then comes back, with a rabbit in his mouth or something like that, having done some hunting. So food is not a problem, actually, for you as you make your way down. Although, as Elsie warns you, once you get to a certain area, until you import more information into her matrix, basically, she's not going to know a lot once you actually get to the realm. So you're running out of usefulness in terms of her mapping ability, but she does have some of that that you're able to do on your way down. Okay. Having made your way all the way down, you finally find yourself after the second day, in the afternoon, basically. You find yourself near Avasaria about, let's see, here. Right about there. And these mountain peaks off to the east are kind of standing over the realm of Avasaria. And the thing that when you stop, and basically when Elsie's sort of knowledge officially runs out, you find yourselves, but she says that this is where there's actually a gate here, one way or the other. You find yourself standing in front of a vast stand of flowering cherry trees. This is literally at the end of the mountain pass. You've gone all the way through, around and underneath this narrow pass, and you've come to the end of it, and you're standing in front of these flowering cherry trees. Their heady perfume filling the air. And there's a winding path, which is the remnants of the path that you've been on, not much more than like a game trail, basically, that runs between these large and imposing trees before disappearing within thick fog a score of feet from the grove's border. And Elsie says, "This is where my information comes to an end. There is a gate somewhere ahead of us in this realm, but where I cannot say for certain. But it appears that there is a forested area here, and from here I don't know what is actually awaiting for us inside."
Pretty.
Yep. Very strong aroma, by the way, of the smell of flowers. We were talking about allergies, so think of it that way, right? Cherry blossoms. You can really smell it on the air.
Is there anything that looks suspicious?
Well, if you want to do a little bit of a search, I would allow you to make a couple of things here. Let's see. Sure, go ahead and make a... Well, yeah, let me ask, what are you looking for? Then I can tell you what check to make.
Well, you said like these people basically prefer solitude and they don't really hang out with anyone else. I'm curious if they are trying to protect this place or, ward off people. Would they be alarmed if any strangers approached.
Okay. So are you trying to? So you're trying to look to see if they've set traps for you or whatever, because you don't see any of the inhabitants yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was also going to say, yeah, would there be any traps around? Uh, You said there's a fog, right?
That's right.
Um,
Through the trees. So there's this, the large path that leads through the trees, and then just a few feet from where you're standing, inside these trees, you can see a kind of thick mist or fog that's rolling out from inside whatever this is leading to. Basically, this is leading into some grove, you think, but there's fog that's visible that you can see just a few feet from the entrance to that grove.
okay. Then I would actually check the fog,
Okay.
because I don't know if the fog is caustic or
Okay.
whatnot.
Sure. Let me have you make a perception check for me, please, then, Raven. All right. I think I see a 17. So you think, Raven, that although the fog is thick, it's very bright. And so it almost seems, now you've come in the afternoon, but you would expect that like a very thick forest would actually be much darker inside. It seems to be that you can see the fog as being fairly bright white, which is interesting to you. You don't see any obvious traps per se, but also you're probably not anywhere near close enough to kind of see what's going on inside the grove. But at least from where you are, it does not appear like the fog is caustic in any way, not from what you can tell. It just looks like very thick fog.
So I tell this to the others.
Okay.
Um, and say, well, either there's something that this mist is hiding, or we may be walking into a trap, but obviously the mist is hiding something, which, if it's the city, it could be that. I don't know.
Can I check to see if there's like a spell or an enchantment in the fog?
Sure. Let me have you make. Let me have you make a perception check here too. The reason you're making this check too is because this fog is odd that this fog is here, right? Like the fog you would expect to be higher in the mountains, not lower to the ground, which is what this is. And also, it does seem a little bit out of nowhere. Like it wasn't like there was fog and then all of a sudden, no more fog. Like it was like mountain pass, mountain pass, mountain pass, kaboom, cherry tree grove, and fog inside. Like it seems awfully sudden. So
And I'm going to guide myself while doing this.
sounds good.
Okay.
24. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid there, Nels. There does seem to be something odd about this. And as you sort of are looking down and around the sort of edges of the fog, Nulls, you can see something kind of strange, and that is that there are definitely roots, like tree roots, like, from the wall of cherry trees in front of you. But not just roots, because along one of those roots, you see what is clearly a metallic cable that's like sneaking along and around and over the root and leading into the mist.
And I point out the metallic cable, and I also ask Elsie, because that seems kind of techy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that cable is?
And Elsie says, "It appears to be a mechanical conduit of some kind. Certainly not in line with what one would expect from a forest. It almost seems like a cable intended to bring energy or power to some other source."
Where could that source be, I wonder?
If I had to guess, I would say the mist. Gamork growls softly.
What are they hiding in this mist?
But we did expect more Magitech, correct? So perhaps that's part of it. I think Zataria, she's not as cautious as the others. She still has a little bit of the sort of like, ivory tower academic about her. You read about stuff in books and you go out in the field, like, oh, you just go see it.
So are you leading the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that look like we're here like, all right, well, let's just head in, and then you like more or less march into the mist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sataria like literally just vanishes into the mist, and there's a pause, and Gamork growls again, and Elsie says, are we intended to follow her?
Well,
I say we wait to see if she screams for help or not.
Thanks.
she seems very eager, and sometimes you have to learn hard lessons.
And so the party was split. An entirely new adventure begins. No. Okay. So, Sataria, you head in, and I guess the question is how long you walk in before you notice, things that are, that notice that they're not following you, basically. So you tell me what that's like, because, you can walk into the mist, maybe, I don't know, 70, 80, 90 feet, and the mist is now all around you.
I think Jaraxxus would be following with her, actually.
Okay.
Jaraxxus would be marching right on into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be. Yep.
Okay.
And he would probably be also taking pictures with his video cameras too. now
Okay.
that I think
Yeah, I
about
could
it.
see that. I could see that.
Oh, it's a lovely morning for a walk.
This actually makes some excellent content that I can create. Okay. So Sataria, let's say you tell me, but I'm guessing you go in a couple of minutes, basically,
Yeah.
sort of walking in with Jaraxxus. Hey, what's up, Prince Justin? And when you get in a little bit further along, you can see, now that you've had it pointed out to you, there are more of these metallic cables, and occasionally they pulse with a little bit of a bluish glow, not the sort of terrifying Keratin glow, to be clear, but like just a regular bluish glow among the pale pink flowers. Also, though, you may notice a couple of other things. If you could make another perception check for me, that would be lovely.
Okay.
And the fog in here, by the way, is thick, but it only lightly obscures vision beyond 60 feet. So it's not like 10 feet away you can't see anything. What we get?
11.
11. Yeah, you don't get a whole sense. The one thing to note is that there are a lot of these pink fallen petals. So there's this fog blanket around you, and then also every so often these petals drift by. But at one point, probably a couple of minutes in Zataria, you see something dart across your path. And it originally looks like just a squirrel. Squirrel sort of darts across and kind of looks up at you. By the way, is Gamork staying with Nulls and Raven or coming with Jaraxxus? How would you all... Because, he would do either.
Well, I don't know. If Gamork noticed the cable, I don't think he'd go in there.
Okay, that's fair. Not without everybody
Yeah.
else. Okay,
Yeah.
so he'll stick with the two of you, Raven and Nulls. Sataria and Jaraxxus, so when you come in, this squirrel passes over. But I would like both, I'm going to ask here for you to have do the sort of Jaraxxus Jaegering here for me. Let me see what his stat is, because I want him to make a perception, and I would like Sataria to make a perception, but first I want to see what Jaraxxus actually has. Oh, this is all on D&D Beyond. No, but it should still be here somewhere. Where is Jaraxxus?
+2, his sheet says. I just opened up
Oh,
the
you just
sheet.
opened up the sheet? Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So let me
+2.
do Staria's, and then I will manually roll.
Okay. 14 for Staria.
11 for him.
11. Too focused on trying to make content, I suppose. However, Sataria, that's enough for you to notice that as this squirrel sort of stops, and you can see that it is carrying in its paws what looks like a nut, but as you're looking and it looks up at you, for a minute, you see its left eye rotate, and there's a little red glow as if it is a mechanical eye. And then it whoosh, and darts off the path.
That's creepy.
Jaraxxus is like, oh, I'm just working on my everything okay up there? Yeah.
I think that Sataria would not like let that dissuade her
Okay.
but I think she would sort of slow down and wait for the others because they got to catch up at some point, right?
Okay. But when does this elaborate game of chicken between who goes out and who goes in come to an end? Like, do Nalls and Raven eventually go like, well, all right, let's do it? What do you all think? Because Sataria stops and Jaraxxus stops. So how you do not hear screaming, I guess is what I'll say, Nalls.
Well,
and Raven.
Nall says to Raven, they've been in there a while, haven't they?
Maybe we should send something in just to check on them.
Or I could just ask.
You able to do that?
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, I
If
forgot
they're
to mention.
okay, then...
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up, Raven. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Okay. I realized that I had forgotten, Nalls, that during the 2-day travel, you received a sending message back because you had
Oh.
sent a message out, and I forgot to mention that.
Lovely.
That it was about a day in, and the message that you got back from Doomig was message received, party on the way. So, that was what you got back from Doomig. I mentioned that because you can't have multiple sendings too. So if you're planning to do a sending, thought we should address the one that's already finished.
Okay.
You got that about 24 hours after you sent it.
Okay, and of course, Nalls let everybody know that
Yep.
when it happened. Yes. So, Nall says, "Are you okay in there? Have you seen anything?" To Sataria.
Okay.
So is the reply it's also 25? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course, Sataria, she doesn't have the spell herself, but she'd probably be pretty familiar with it, so she wouldn't ramble.
And then there was a
Magitech.
squirrel, and it was really weird. And
Magitech really is everywhere. Even animals have it. But I haven't seen any reason not to continue. It's just creepy.
Okay, so yeah, of course, Nalls relays that to Raven.
Well, I'm better with creepy than violent, so
And
I
I'm
say we
wondering,
go in.
I'm wondering if Elsie can help us flush out any Magitech that would be troublesome.
Then I say let's go in.
And that's what we do.
Okay. You enter into the mist. And assuming Sataria and Jaraxxus stay where they are, it doesn't take you too long before you find your way to this place. Although I should point out that as you are making your way in, at one point, I would say, let me get a perception actually from Nalls and Raven, please. Because it takes you about 15 minutes to catch up to where Sataria is and Jaraxxus. 24 from Nalls, okay. And a 9 from Raven. Okay, Raven is a little bit focused on the mist and the fog and the petals and all that, maybe. But Nulls, you hear again this sort of rustling in the undergrowth through these trees. And when you look over, you can see what looks like a fox that is sort of just peeking out from the tree trunks at you. And it looks just like a normal, everyday average red fox sort of staring out at you in the late afternoon light fog, basically, from a tree. It just seems to be staring at you.
Gamork, is there anything odd about that fox over there?
So Gamork turns and then takes one step towards the fox, and the fox darts away. But as it darts away, you hear a scraping sound, and like this sort of strange metallic scraping. And Gamork takes a few more steps over to where the fox was, and then sniffs in the direction of the trees, and then sniffs at the spot where the fox left, and then growls. Now, I should ask, because this is going to be important going forward. When Gamork growls, do you usually want Elsie to translate for him? Do you like how do you?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure because like I didn't. So Elsie says, Gamork says that there are markings on the tree, claw marks, but not normal ones, left by the fox.
Oh, let's investigate them.
When you go over, you see that there are long, jagged cuts in the tree, and the jagged cuts are far deeper than a normal fox would have been able to make. These are the cuts of a metal claw, not a normal fox paw.
So, were they experimented on like Gamork, or are they even foxes at all?
Elsie says, it does appear that they are some sort of hybrid form, but I cannot say if this is an experiment like what was done to Gamork here. And Gamork, sort of sniffing at it, his nose wrinkling, sort of backs up and makes his way back into the sort of general path. And Elsie says, he says it smells like filthy machines.
Well, I guess that means we should keep ourselves alert.
Are there more in the area, Gamork? Can you smell anything?
Gamork reports that he cannot.
Well, they're not attacking, though. They're probably just looking at us and trying to figure out why we are here. So we'll just have to keep going, stay alert, but not pass off like we're going to, like, destroy anything.
Mm-hmm.
But are they reporting what they're observing? And if they are reporting, then to whom?
Zataria, what do you think?
Well, you haven't gotten to Stari quite yet.
We
should
haven't gotten there
No,
yet.
not quite yet.
Okay.
You should be there in a few minutes if you keep going.
Okay. So I think we should just continue on and find Zataria and Jaraxxus, and then we can figure out from there.
One last note as you, just before you get there, you also occasionally hear what sounds, the best equivalent, I guess I would say, is a buzzing sound. like a bzz, 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 once in a while, somewhere off in the fog and off the path. Just
We're
noting
not going
that.
to chase that for now.
I was going to say, just noting it, just noting it. But a few minutes later, you do find Sataria and Jaraxxus standing, waiting for all of you. And when you arrive in the area, you can see they are there and seem unhurt.
Have you noticed any metal creatures?
No. The squirrel had it had an eye thing.
We ran into a fox that appears to not have been a fox. It has some rather dangerous metal claws.
But it didn't attack us.
Well, it's just an animal doing its animal things, I guess.
Well, hopefully. Or it might be collecting information and sharing it somewhere else.
Well, we should go introduce ourselves then.
As you go further along down this path, I'm going to ask you to start making checks in a minute, but I do want to note that at one point it feels as if the fog around you has sort of collected below at your ankles, and then you think that maybe you're walking through like almost like ankle thick snow, but as you look more closely, you see it's not that. You see that it's actually a blanket of petals that have fallen from. Whoops, sorry, I just accidentally minimized all my windows. Hold please, 1 second. So many petals in the ground, I can't even see anything. Okay. Let's see. And then there's that, and then there's that. Okay, I think that's almost back to normal now. Sorry, everybody. So you notice that it seems to be petals, and a ton of them. And the reason I bring that up is that this is starting to feel very odd, because it's like, Sataria, this doesn't make any sense for this region. Like, this forest is way too foresty. Even the areas that are supposedly around, you've been in the areas up and around your area in the mountains where you did your research and so forth. And like, there's grassy plains and there's little like forested copses and like little groves and things like that. But this is like this lush area that feels, to jump out of game for a second, like you're in Lothlorien or something. And that's not at all, at least from your experience, what this region is supposed to be like. This whole thing feels strange to you, because the petals seem to just keep coming also, like down from the trees.
Well, I'm gonna kick him.
Okay. This big swirl of petals actually goes up. Raven, I need a perception check from you, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Perhaps I think probably you're about to look into it, and whoosh, this like shower of petals brought up by Sataria's kick sort of rains down around you. But that buzzing that I mentioned continues to sort of sound off in the distance, which I think is a good spot for us to head to our break. When we come back, I'm going to ask the group to be making a few survival checks as they try to find their way through this petal and fog to whatever the gate is that's at the center of this grove. You are watching the amazing and awesome crew of Rhiannon Held, Toya Krista Finley, LaShawn M. Wanek. Zach is not with us this month, but we'll be back with the crew next month. If you like what you see in here, please make sure to follow us here. Please make sure to support all of these lovely people by getting their books, by subscribing to their various newsletters and things like that, by hiring people like Toya for editing work, narrative design work, et cetera, and all that sort of thing. But otherwise, we're going to take a 5-minute break here. Let's say an 8-minute break because it's 9:42. So 9:50 p.m. Eastern, if we can be back here. And then we will continue for about another 40 minutes or so after that. And then we will be back. In the meantime, chat, please go get some water and hydrate, and we'll see you back here in just a little bit. Hold tight for the moment. right, and we are back. Welcome, everybody. We are back to the strange grove with a bunch of mechanical foxes and a bunch of other things. Hold on one second. I have to change everyone about. Let's see. Nose there. Raven is here. Nope. Almost. I just have to do that. Okay, everyone's back with the shipping. Great. So welcome back, and also hi nonstop. Okay, so you all right? So you are now at the center of, or you're trying to make your way, I should say, not at the center yet. Trying to make your way to the center of this grove, following this path. And I believe you had just you'd heard this sort of buzzing in the distance, but I'm assuming now that you've gathered up, you're now going to continue along the way. Okay, so I need the group to make what is known as a group survival check, and basically what that means is that all three of you, four actually, if Rhiannon, you wouldn't mind rolling for our guy Jaraxxus, and the key is to try to get a majority of people to pass this survival check. So I'm going to need each of you to make a survival check. This is wisdom based if for some reason you don't have survival specifically. So that's what we're looking for.
We use the survival skill, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. We have an 18, we have an 11, and we have an 18, we have a 23.
And I have the same. Let's see.
Is it also +2 for Jaraxxus?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna roll me twice because it's
Okay. That works out. Okay, so at one point you're not 100% sure if this is after about like an hour of travel, and you're not 100% sure, at least Sataria, where exactly you're going, but the other three are able to more or less direct you. After the first hour of going through, there has been this continual, like these occasional buzzing sounds. And then right, Raven, by your feet, I would say right off the trail, basically a little bit below the curtain of, or the all the petals that are at your ground that you're kind of wading through, more or less. Not that they're just petals, so it's not like they stop you from walking through them. But there is this sharp bzz, and what looks like a spark off to your left. And as you look over that way, you can see something half buried in the petals. And whatever it is glinting in the light, as if it is either reflective or metallic or something like that. And it's just lying on top of the petals, and it's exactly where the buzz was that you just heard.
I let the others know, and then I kind of warily approach it
Okay.
to see what it is.
When you get over to it, you can spot what looks like at first it's a little hard to tell, and then you think it might be something like a mouse or a small rodent of some kind, like some kind of forest mouse maybe. And you probably wouldn't necessarily you would know what a mouse is, Raven, although you wouldn't have had any experience with a forest mouse, but you probably would have heard of a mouse at some point. This looks like that, except that the body of the creature is charred and blackened. You can see that its tail is the thing that was glinting. It's sort of curled around its body. It's dead, by the way, very clearly. And its tail is glinting and sort of reflecting this light. And right next to it is what looks like a buzzing, sparking cable. One of those cables that we mentioned that like waves, that winds around the roots. But this one is buzzing and sparking.
So I let the others know.
Is there any skill that Jaraxxus has to investigate mechanical things like that?
He has a skill, right, that allows him to determine the function of a machine, like a function of a device. He's used that several times. But I don't, this is not a, this clearly is like, it may have mechanical origins, but it's not a machine that's like it's not a control panel, right? Like it's closer to Gamork than it is a panel. But, you know, if you want to do some kind of a search to determine what it is, it's definitely motionless, it's definitely dead, and it's definitely charred.
And you said there's a cable
Right
coming
near
from it?
That's
Can
no,
we see-
right, not coming from it, right near it. One of those big cables that was winding around the roots, like that. But it's that cable is buzzing.
Can we see where that cable leads?
The cable leads off into the mist, but now that you look at it more closely, Knowles, you can see that the middle of the cable seems to be frayed. So it's like
Wonder if-
exposed, basically.
I wonder if our mouse friend here was gnawing at it and got the shock of its life, so to speak. Poor thing.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
In which case, I wonder if that means if these animals can I look more closer at the mouse?
Sure, absolutely. What do you want to look for?
Cool. Yeah, the mouse is the mouse mechanical like the
The
is
tail
the mouse
definitely is.
mechanical?
The tail
Okay.
definitely is. Yep. Yep. That seems to be all. The rest of it seems to be all like regular furry kind of, you know, formerly living mouse. But the tail is definitely mechanical, and you can see that the tail is segmented and is very finely articulated. That is to say, if you weren't looking closely, the tail has so many segmentations that it looks like it would curve just about like a normal tail. But it's definitively mechanical and metallic, but it's pretty good craftsmanship to actually get it to look, you know, practically anyway like a mouse's tail would.
What is the point of all of this?
Well, it seems like it wouldn't be a creature that is doing a job for someone, because then they would have it not eat other parts of their equipment. So it escaped, but all the animals we've been seeing, it seems too many for escape. So what Elsie was talking about, the change or something. So maybe there's so much magic around that it just like changes animals without someone doing it on purpose because they're around.
Is that possible, Elsie?
And LC smoothly pops up in the hologram and says, "It is. I don't have much knowledge about magic per se, since it means so many different things to so many different people. But based upon what I heard, the research that I did, there did appear to be a great deal of magitech qualities around this place, which was always a fusing of technology, which I understand better, and magic, which I understand less. However, this thing does look like a partially mechanical mouse. And what made it happen, that it was transformed this way, I cannot say. But I can say one thing for certain. What killed it was that cable."
And the cable is the source of the fog.
Perhaps. Or it connects to what it is that's producing the fog. Very strange.
What kind of power is flowing through these cables? Can you detect that?
It appears to be what is called off your world electrical power. Essentially the same thing as the lightning that you might see. A current which is running through it. What I don't understand is why you would need cables with electricity in a forest.
Is it possible to shut the power off?
Not from here, I would think. These seem to be cables connected to some much larger machine. Gamork has been growling softly for quite some time, incidentally. Not any like, oh my god, there's danger, just sort of like this whole thing sucks. Is more or less what it is.
Well, there's someone behind this, clearly. Either that or there was somebody behind this and now they're gone and it's just sort of like the Centurion where it's running on its own, strangely. But I think that we don't want to be messing around with their stuff until we know who they are. That seems to get off on the wrong foot.
Should we follow this cable?
We're on kind of like a path, right?
A narrow path, which you are following with some difficulty, but you've managed to stay
Okay.
with it so far. The cable runs along the path, I will say, and it does not yet run off away from the path, but it might do that. Just at the moment, as far as you can see, it runs along the path.
Well, as long as we don't have to decide yet, we can just keep going.
Is that what you want to do? Okay.
I don't
that,
see any
yeah.
other thing.
Okay. So as you follow along, and indeed the cable, which doesn't have any more breaks in it, you don't hear any more buzzing for a while, goes for, you probably are there for another, I would say, almost hour as you're passing along. And I need another survival check here, please, from everybody. Again, this is another one of those group checks. The winding path, because it's below the pedals, is very difficult to follow at times. All right, we got a 13, we got a 15, we got a 7, we got 11. These are not as positive.
Also, there
overall.
were 2 nat 20s in a row the last time.
That's true, there were.
Yeah, there were 2 nat 20s in a row.
Look at that. Nice. Apparently you're paying for that now because they were like, all right, well, there's going to be no more of that nonsense, apparently. Okay. So this time around, you struggle a little bit to find exactly where you're going this time around. The cable itself does help you stay somewhat close to the path, but not easily so. As you are sort of passing along this spot, you get to finally about the end of another hour. The cables then cut off the path and move into the forest proper, and the path continues along its way. But as you stop there, sort of thinking about making a decision about where you want to go, I need everybody to make a perception check for me, please.
And Nalls is going to guide herself again.
Okay. I'm going to make a roll for no reason. Fear not. Just, just for the hell of it. Okay. All right. Okay, so we've got a, let's see, we've got a 17 from Sataria. We have got that's a 10, I think, for Jaraxxus.
Yeah.
Nalls, you got an 11. Is that counting the guidance? Or
No.
Okay. So why don't you add your guidance, and then do we have something from, oh yeah, then you got a 10 for Raven. Gotcha. Okay, and the perception. All right. So far it's just Sataria that sees this, but let's see if, how the guidance does for you, Nalls.
Did it actually show up?
No, I just see the 11, the original roll that you made.
So that's an adding a d4, right?
For
on top of
guidance,
that?
either D4 or D6. I don't know if it goes up to D6 for you.
Let me see here. Blah 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 blah. Yes, it's a d4.
Okay.
So
go ahead and add that.
I don't know why.
Did you roll it and it just didn't show up?
Yeah, it did show. Is it
What was it?
2?
So a 13. Okay. So then, this is very, very appropriate since this is directly related. Sataria, as you were walking along, you were probably the only person to notice that at some point there's this weird sort of red glow. And as you look down at your body, or down where the glow is, you can see that there are 2 red lights that are crisscrossed and facing on your body. There are two laser lights. Now, you wouldn't know them as lasers. Would you, Magitech? Maybe. But two red lights are red circles are on your body, intersecting from two different spots. And they're just sitting on your body about, neck high, maybe a little lower.
I think I'm sort of weighing Magitech kind of because, me with my knowledge, I would stop immediately.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe she doesn't stop because she thinks he's in imminent danger, but she does stop because she wants to figure out what it is, what's going on.
Yeah.
Sort of like look down, hold it hands.
Which all the
what's
rest
going
of you
on.
can see too when you do that. At which point you all would notice there are these two lights. And Raven, you definitely know this to be, these look like laser sights.
Mm.
Where are these coming from? Elsie, can you
Yep.
see where they're coming from?
There's a little pause and then. There appear to be two beams coming from two of the trees, both of them focused on Sataria.
Which trees?
And there's one to the right side of the path, one to the left side of the path in front, and then sort of describes a little bit. And you can see you could trace the beams. Like if you want, you could follow the beams back up to where the trees are. It's not very far from here if you want to do that. However, you would have to walk up to the trees to do that. In the meantime, Sataria does have two laser sights on, on her neck. So I don't know if that's a concern for anyone or not. But
Am I close enough to use thunderclap on the trees?
Ooh, no, sorry.
Thunder wave? You mean?
Thunderclap.
Thunderclap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the path is pretty narrow. I mean, it's probably maybe 10 to 15 feet wide.
Okay.
So you could do that. Just have to think about like whatever the effect of a thunderclap. But yes, you could do that.
So okay, so it's within 5 feet. But I can target one thing, so it would not hit
It wouldn't hit
Zataria
both of
if I.
them. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's true. You could
Yeah.
set it up so it wouldn't hit Sataria. Yes.
Yes. So I'm gonna aim at one tree and then aim at the other one.
Okay. Now the
Okay.
lasers.
And then,
Go ahead, Raven.
in the meantime, well, I just was looking. I have this thing called Aegis,
Right.
but it's only for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it won't.
No, it's
won't
almost like a
say.
second skin, honestly, Raven. It's,
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able to
okay.
yeah. Nulls, the one thing about the thunderclap though, you said 5 feet because
Yeah.
these lasers are coming. They're definitely farther off than that. The lasers are probably a
Oh.
good 40 to 50 feet off in each direction. 40 feet left, 40 feet right. So it's definitely not that close.
So could I use? Could I use Thunderwave without hitting Sataria?
Probably not. You could go to where Sataria is and then do it from Sataria's body, like right next to Sataria's body, and then the thunder wave would go out there. But it would only go in the one direction, right? Like
Okay.
one side of the path or the other, and it would hit anything else on the way. Cables, mechanical mice, like whatever.
Okay.
So
Well, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use Blade Ward on myself.
okay,
And then I am going to go up next to Sataria and use level 1 Thunder Wave.
okay.
Can it hit both trees or just one?
Just one because you have to face one side of the path or the other. I don't think it's big enough to capture both.
All right. Okay, I'm going to use level 1 Thunder Wave.
Okay. So Sataria, while they're doing this, what are you doing since you've been standing here like this, like looking down at these laser lights?
So I was just looking at, I do have shield as a reaction if
Okay.
something happens.
Okay.
And I think for now, knowing that she has that as a reaction, what she's going to do is sort of be like, "Hello, I'm a healer. don't have to worry about me. We're just traveling, looking for somewhere.
Okay. So you do the so you say that Knowles walks up, and the thunder wave happens, and there is this sound of a there's sort of a clicking sound, and then a as if something metallic has hit the ground, and one of the laser sights disappears. The one that was
Okay.
coming from this side of the path, and something, not far from you, Knowles, like I said, maybe 30, 40 feet away, still somewhat visible, even though there's mist and everything, is where the red light was coming from. That red light's now gone, and something hit the ground near the tree where you were aiming your thunder wave.
Okay, so I'm going to aim Thunderwave at the other tree now.
Okay. When you turn around and do that, same scenario. You hear a kind of click, then a smashing sound, and then, and of course, this rumbles, it echoes throughout the entire forest. Like you can hear this, and below it you say, "Come find us. We're here." No, I'm kidding. It doesn't do that. But it does echo a little bit, and both red lights are now gone from Sataria's neck, and in both cases, something fell or smashed or something that were near each of those trees that you hit.
Do we want to approach whatever fell?
Satari's
we
gonna say
should.
like, I wasn't lying. I am a healer, but my friends aren't.
That's true. I hadn't thought about
So-
that. I'm a healer. No, like, I heal
Actually-
people with hate.
Having said that, she will probably pick one of the two trees to go see if there's someone that she can, like, having said she's a healer, she's like, oh wait,
Okay.
maybe there was somebody up there that
Left
I
or
should go
right?
heal. Right.
Okay. When you go off to the right, you see lying on the ground a furry forest creature. And you can see that it is a rabbit, or at least it looks like a rabbit. But you also see something odd. It is lying on the ground, unmoving. And you can see that its long ears are metal in nature. And there is what looks like a now dull red aperture in one of the ears. And it's lying on the ground motionless.
So the rabbits were threatening us? And there's no other, like, person who was wielding them?
Not that you see.
Wow, okay. I'm not going to bother talking to them next
I mean, they
time.
could have, maybe somebody did and ran away or something, but there's not anything here other than the rabbit.
What is that red aperture in their ears?
Well, the red light came from somewhere, right? That's
Or is it
Satari's
controlling
understanding.
them, maybe? Were they being controlled?
Gamork is like, and Gamork finally goes, and Elsie says, Gamork believes that creatures have been set loose in this environment. Perhaps they escaped, or perhaps they were driven away. But he believes that these creatures are part of this place. He
And
also
is-
said that he hates machines.
Is this?
But are they? What? So then Raven says, are they fully machines? Or are they organic animals that have been amplified with machinery?
And Elsie says, these appear to be hybrid creatures of some kind. Much of these bodies seem to be organic in nature, but not all of them. Whether they are experimented on or created, I cannot say.
Again, to what end? And why let them all loose here? Is this some survival of the fittest experiment?
If
Well,
this-
I want to know why they were threatening. So are they following somebody's orders, or do we have to not piss off bunnies as we go through the forest? Like, if it sort of happened to them and now they're independent, why were they worried about us? Like, I'm worried that I don't know how to not piss off bunnies.
Well, hmm. Well, I
I mean,
may have something that might help, but I don't think it would be useful. I can, and there here Raven shifts uncomfortably. I can try and see if I can friend a bunny or one of these animals to see if it can guide us through this mist.
that's a good idea.
But it's basically me. And here she stops and she she frowns at Centurion. It's like, I believe you call it. I believe you have something similar in your magic or whatnot called charms. For
Hmm.
me, it's called friends. So I don't know how long it could work, but I can give it a try.
What you need is a familiar, because one of these would be an amazing familiar. Anyway, no, that's beside the point. Purely academic.
I mean,
At
you could
that,
find
Raven
yourself a
shudders.
familiar.
Raven shudders at that in terms of like, I am never using an animal to force it to my own will.
They're not slaves. They're like a friend.
They're companions.
Mm.
Gamork is not here against his own will.
In the meantime, when you look over, you notice that Gamork is now on the other side of the path and is nosing something in the same spot where you thunderwaved Nulls and something else fell, like in the same spot, and is growling softly as he noses something on the ground.
Okay, well, let's go see what that's all about. Is that a bunny or is it another vermin?
It is not a bunny. It is a snake. It is curled up, coiled up, I should say, and motionless. But the entire portion of its body, all of its body, seems to have on the top of it metallic scales, and below a normal green-brown snake-like body. But on the top of it are these metallic scales, and in the front, at the edge of its tail, you can see another one of those red apertures, which is now dull red and not glowing. And you can see Gamork, his nose wrinkled, is kind of like pushing at this thing, and then growls softly to himself.
Is it possible to take the aperture off of the snake?
It does. You might be able to, because it looks almost like a red crystalline, like a red crystal thing. You might be able to pry it loose. You could give that a shot, Nulls. Yeah, you're not sure if
Okay.
you can, but you could try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Okay, so let's see. I would say that would be like a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Would be the way to do that. If you have that, if not, just sort of a straight dex check.
And I'm gonna guide myself and sleight of hand. I can't see what that was. That roll was. It was a 10, so let me.
Yeah, I see a 10 so far. Yep.
It's 11.
Yeah. It's very hard to pry loose. You're not sure if you have everything that's necessary for it. You think it's possible for it to be done, but it's not going to be easy to do.
Can anyone remove that red crystal there off of the snake or even the rabbit?
I can give it a try.
Okay.
Give me a moment here. Um, what am I using for?
So this would be sleight of hand, which you should have on your sheet, but if not, then just a straight dex check would do that.
Well, here it goes.
Okay. So a 14. Very close, Raven. You can't quite get, if you've ever tried to pry something loose. Like if you were trying to pry an eraser from a pencil, let's say, like an old school pencil, you would have to you're trying to dig beneath it and you can't quite get under it. You kind of feel like it's possible, but you're not quite there.
Can I use
she
medicine?
said, actually, Draxus might have.
I'll
be
come back to that
helpful,
medicine
too.
question in a minute, Satara. Okay, you're going to try, so you want Draxus to try?
Yep. So Draxus, you want to give it a try? Draxus, stop taping.
Ooh.
Stop videotaping the.
I've
I
tried-
mean, he's
You would
He's
like
got a-
me to try to remove the little red crystal from the snake or the bunny?
This is a good
Sure.
comparison, although I keep thinking it's sounding more and more like Inspector Clouseau. Like, does your dog bait? It's like, okay,
I forget I can guide myself while I do this.
let me see what I can do. I was trying to get the resolution on this correctly. Zach is going to hear this and be like, "What the what exactly are these comparisons?" This is absurd. Okay, so you want to so guidance, which should be 1d4 again, I think, for him. So yeah, Randon, if you wouldn't mind adding rolling a d4 to that.
11.
11. Yeah, same problem. Not quite able to release it. Now, when you say
Can we take a dagger or something and try to take it off?
that's what I've been assuming you've been trying. It's just not easy to get it sort of
Okay.
situated around it. Satara, you said medicine. Like what? I'm curious. Like what that would.
Dissection. So that it's not just like chop chop. It's like come in with the around the tendons or sever a particular tendon.
Okay, I
or-
tell you what. I'll allow that. I'll allow you to do a check for that using medicine, but you won't be able to get just the crystalline aperture out. It means that you'd be getting
Oh, yeah.
like a section of
Sure.
the snake, basically. So yes, I'll let you do the medicine check. Sure. 6. like just sawing away. And it's metallic.
I don't work
right?
with
And,
snakes.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I do have skill in mechanics.
Okay.
Although I have a higher skill in computers, but
The computer's definitely is
Mechanics
not going
might-
to be here. Mechanics.
Would you like
Yeah.
some guidance?
yeah, I'll take some guidance.
All right.
Raven, before I let you do this, tell me what you're doing though to do the mechanics of it, because it's not it's not alive right now, right? And it doesn't have any machine. There's no. What are you using mechanics for? I guess is my question to get this aperture off.
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe us trying to pry at it isn't going to work, but maybe perhaps there's some sort of release that is hidden, which means I will have to touch the corpse of a dead bunny. But
You're going to do the bunny or you're going to do the snake?
I mean, I assume the snake is getting kind of grody at this
Oh,
point with everybody
yeah,
at it.
the
Pretty
snake
grody.
is getting kind of grody.
Yeah.
So I would actually go back to the bunny because
Okay.
that's more intact and it has, if I could search for a sort of a more of a catch release valve.
Problem, Raven, is that when you get back to where the bunny is gone.
Oh,
Snake it is.
ew.
Bunny is vanished.
I actually find that more worrying.
I thought
What
you
happened
would.
to the
I mean,
bunny?
where's the bunny?
Where's the bunny? Where did it go?
Can Gamort track the scent of it? Like if somebody picked it up, could he smell it in their hands?
You could ask if you want. If you want Gamork to do that. Gamork sort of growls, and Elsie explains that Gamork is struggling to track the scent over the very strong scent of the flowers all around you, so having a hard time picking up on that.
Okay.
So Gamork also very unhappy about this turn of events because it is very weird.
Is the snake still there with us
Yeah,
standing
because
around
you're
it?
standing right. Yeah, like the snake
Okay.
has not moved. Yeah.
We might as well just try to get it off of the snake since the rabbit's gone.
So you can do the same mechanical thing you want Raven for that, with like the release and all that. You could do that if you wish.
Okay, all right. And we'll do guidance. Okay.
Okay.
Please let that work.
18, and then you're going to do the guidance on top of it.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Oh, what is guidance?
Well, that
D4.
would be. And actually,
Oh,
I think,
D4.
yeah, D4.
Yeah. But is that actually is that high enough?
Well, let's maybe put
Okay,
your best
no.
foot forward and then decide.
No,
before I
I'll do
tell
it.
you.
I'll do a D4.
Okay.
Okay.
So 21. Yeah, as you're sort of reaching around, you do in fact find what is essentially a flap through one of the scales, and as you sort of work it back and forth, you're able to finally pry the little piece that has the aperture on it off, and it just leaves you with this sort of scale, and then the red crystal with this dull red crystal in the center of the scale. The interesting thing is there is a very tiny set of wires that seems to lead down the snake's back and interwoven into the plates, like the metallic scales on its back.
And yeah. So Raven's going to hand it all of this over to Knowles, and then she'll be like, and like as she drags her hands on the pedals and all that.
Okay.
It's like,
Elsie? Jiraxis, can you explain what this is?
It would appear that is the source of one of the laser beams, which was several moments ago directed at Sataria. What I am surprised about is it is very small to have produced a laser light that intense, but it certainly seems as if it was designed to make targeting easier.
So, the animals themselves were the weapons.
Or the conduits. Jiraxis
Well-
is still fiddling with his camera, swearing about 1080p resolution.
Well, I think we know now why they let all these animals loose in this forest. They are the protectors, and we are the trespassers.
Gamork growls quietly.
which we totally are. I mean,
Means
So
we
the
can't
idea
reason with them very well, or at all.
but I also find it interesting in that there hasn't really been any serious harm towards us. Like, you would think that there would be like guns or some sort of traps or something like that. It's been more surveillance than outright attack.
Well, as far as I understand them, the people of Eviseria prefer just to not be bothered. And if you don't start none, won't be none.
Are you going to keep on moving?
There has to be some sort of way to show them that we come in peace. Or at least to somehow get a message to them.
Yeah, that's
Is there anything on this snake that we could use to send a message? If
I'm not
LC is
touching that
correct,
again.
but if
Yes.
LC is correct and it's a conduit, perhaps we can get the message to whomever was using it.
well. it- Would we recognize it if we found it? I mean, I wouldn't, but
Unless what I can do is if we find another of these creatures alive, I can make friends with it and ask them to pass on a message for us.
that's right. I like that plan.
Now, we could have Gamork track one of them if we can get rid of this aroma around us.
How are we going to get rid of so many flower petals, though? I mean, pick them
Well,
again.
I do have access to Wither and Bloom, which would get rid of the flowers. That's right, right? Is that not correct?
I mean, it's right. There's a lot of flowers, though.
Okay,
Like,
well,
there's a lot of trees. In fact, again, I want to emphasize, way too many. Like,
okay.
this is like, you know, this is the hundreds of trees. It feels like of flowering trees.
Hmm. How would we get rid of the smell of all of these flowers? Because I also don't want to I want to stay on the path as much as possible and not get lost in this forest because
Hmm.
there's a lot of shooty things in it. Um, could Uncle Bones find one?
You don't know, but the question would be, because Uncle Bones can only go what 60 feet out from you, right?
Yeah,
I mean, not likely. Like at that
Okay.
point, you would be able to, right? Like, so. But you could, if you catch sight of them again, possibly.
I mean, if we're not going to go with, or, try to find one, and I agree, it makes sense to stay in the path. Maybe we should forge onward, and then when the lights pop up again, we try to get one of those for Raven to charm.
I think that's all we can do at this point.
and Jaraxxus doesn't have anything that could could detect a life form or even detect like the electricity that's coming off of the animals themselves.
It's a good question. I'm not sure if he has anything like that or not.
Uh,
Probably
it's
not
an unfamiliar
obviously
character
so.
sheet, so I don't,
Yeah.
and especially when we need to be wrapping, I don't
Yeah,
think
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Okay. Speaking of which, let me have you make so assuming you move along the path, let me have you make one final group survival check.
Right.
To get us.
Can I do
here.
this with guidance?
Sure. Yeah. All right. What are we looking at here? A lot of good,
Ah.
a lot of rolls.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was bad.
We have an 18, we have a 19, we have a 4, and a 7. Okay. The good news is that you
I have a
also
5.
have Gamork with you. So you've got, say again? What's that?
That would be 5.
Oh, that would be 5. Okay, yes. Sadly, not going to make much of a difference, I think, in that case. But that's enough. 2 of you succeeded, and you also have Gamork that did. So you were able to make your way essentially to what you think is finally the center. After about another hour or so, you find yourself staring as you walk through this grove at this. And I'm putting it on OBS. So now you should be able to see it in your screen. The trail ends within 50 feet from an immense tree, its trunk 20 feet wide and 200 feet tall. Metallic cables radiate from the gnarled roots of the huge tree, out towards the smaller trees that comprise the grove beyond. So this seems to be where a lot of those, cables you've seen were leading. The mists here are tall and thick, making the ground even harder to see clearly. But nestled near the base of the tree is a vine covered arch of metal and stone. It looks very similar, actually, to the arch, Knowles, that you saw when you and the rest of the crew first went to Celis. So it looks like a Realms Gate like that. This suggests it might be the Realm Gate to Avisaria. And so you all stand sort of looking at this Realm Gate.
And how do we spell Avisaria?
EVO
EVO
SERIA.
SERIA. Okay.
What do you folks want to do just before
Well.
we close up?
I guess we're going in.
So you're gonna head into the Realm Gate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
if
Jaraxxus, of course, will go first. Well, it looks like this is the only logical path we have here, so let us jaunt forward.
As you take several steps, as Jaraxxus takes several steps forward, a crossbow bolt whistles by his shoulder, and suddenly emerging from next to the tree, first of all, you see a figure with a familiar mask. You might remember what this mask looks like, actually. I don't know if I have it here or not. I don't. I won't bother to take the time now. But it is exactly like the masks worn by the cultists, Nulls, that you saw in that original fight, right? That the car, up in Camria, when you were up there, that mask that they were wearing. And next to this one with his crossbow that just missed, rising up out of the mist and the fog, is a massive creature of green leaves and branches and cables. It shambles towards you, and that's where we will bring our session to a close.
And it would be just like Jaraxxus to trigger something like that.
That's right. It is a weird shambling mound. It's not just a shambling mound. It's a weird shambling mound. I'm very excited to see this. I'm glad we actually... So we'll begin with a combat next time, and it'll probably be Zach being like, what are we facing? So anyway. But I was having a ton of fun watching you folks make your way through this weirdo forest. Demented Alice in Wonderland or something as you're making your way through. And again, this sort of Magitech combination of technology and everything else is very fun. I also was enjoying everyone trying to get the damn thing out of the snake. That was also cracking me up a little bit. But really interesting, and I'm very excited to see after this combat what happens when you folks go through this Realm Gate. Again, for those of you who are not here, Zach is not with us today, but he will be with us next month in this session. Go support all of Zach's things. Moving right along, LaShawn, good stuff from Raven today. I appreciated some of the things that Raven was talking about, the alterations that Raven has had a bit in, not her personality, but in the way that she's dealing with things around her, I think might be the, sort of better way to describe it. And there's a nice little moment when Knowles and Sataria were like, well, familiars are just friends. And Raven was like, I will use nothing against its will. There's a nice little character moment there that we get from Raven, which was cool. And then also, Raven is going to be kind of important in figuring out some of the more dexterous tasks that may be facing this party. Although, I don't know, maybe Raven is just going to go toe-to-toe with this shambling mound thing. Maybe that'll be what happens. How'd you feel about today's session? What were the fine folks want you next?
Well, this was fun. Yeah, Raven took a little bit more. She did more. She's less passive, more active. But that could also mean that she's kind of in some places that might be familiar to her. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know how she'll react seeing a giant bush coming towards her. So we'll see how it goes. But
Yes,
yeah.
I'm excited for that. Where can the fine folks find you next, LaShawn?
People can find me on Facebook. Um, they can also find me on Blue Sky under T-Bone Jenkins. I have a Patreon and I have a blog called The Cafe in the Woods. So yeah, people can just find me there.
Good stuff. Thank you, LaShawn. Looking forward to finding out what Raven gets up to next month, as always. Moving right along, Toya. Good stuff from Knowles today. I definitely enjoyed the conversation where you're introducing Elsie to Gamork, and Triff had pointed out, like, you successfully manipulated Arv into having a discussion with himself. I'm like, yeah, like, you know, like the DM playing NPCs, two NPCs against each other. But it is going to be interesting to see these two creatures sort of played out against each other, and I was curious to see how everyone was going to react to that news about Gamork being in pain. How that was people were gonna play off them, since you've all gotten very protective for good reasons of Gamork. I was curious what would happen there, and then obviously this weirdo dreamscape-ish style, grove of like mechanical creatures. The more we play this, the more I keep thinking about the video game Horizon Zero Dawn, which is basically this, or even creatures in Black Panther, in Wakanda, where it's like there's the rhino is like half mechanical, half not, or whatever. I am an armored. So I'm very curious to see how Knowles reacts to some of that as she goes through, because this is a strange place, and Knowles has very distinctive memory of some other strange forested cable places that she's encountered before, I would say. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Yeah, so my internet decided to get wonky right through all of that, but I got most of it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I start
Okay, that's
breaking
fine.
up, yeah. I This was really different, I think, than a lot of other sessions. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like there was a lot of investigation in the forest trying to figure out what exactly was going on with the animals, and I don't remember us encountering creatures like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had the wolves, of course, with Gamork's pack, but they were, very obviously attacking. And then you have like this not passive aggressive, but very defensive measure of the lasers coming out of nowhere. And that was really interesting. And it's like, okay, are these animals doing this of their own will? Are they being used by someone else? So that
Mm-hmm.
was really fascinating. And yeah, I'm interested to see how the Elsie Gamork relationship grows or does not grow. Because they both distrust each other right now,
Mm-hmm.
to a certain degree. And it's not surprising that Gamork does not trust us completely, but like if that gets better and if Elsie can ever truly understand what she just seems very befuddled by Gamork's everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that was also very interesting about the pain that he was in. And I think way back when we knew that, like when he first the apparatus exploded and he lost his eyes
Mm-hmm.
and his sight. But it was good to be reminded of that, and I'm very curious to see if he will accept healing at some point, and if he does accept that healing, like how much more badass will Murder
Yeah.
Puppy be?
Maybe it'll
So
take away his edge. Maybe it'll just be like, just a
he'll be
puppy.
chill.
Yeah.
I lurk around the internet, so I'm not very active on social media. You will find me next here, playing here again. However, I am working on an interactive fiction right now, and if you would like to support that, there is a coffee link for me. I would love anything you would love to offer. Also, if you go to my website, schnoodlemedia.com, I have services of editing as well as game writing and narrative design. If you or anyone you know needs help, please hit me up. I am very available right now.
Yeah, and I've Oh, that's what it was. Peaks Cruise. Yeah, sorry. I was like Peaks Cars and then Peaks Crew. That has the links that we were talking about right there, including to Toya stuff. Thank you, Toya. Always a pleasure. And last but certainly not least, Rhiannon, as well, good stuff from Sataria. As I mentioned, this area is definitely going to have some things that are going to be in Sataria's wheelhouse, I think, but also the idea of magic that is fused with technology, which is a little bit of what Sataria was almost studying, right? Like kind of Magitech related stuff, is going to be stuff that you see here. Although the whole thing feels a little too strange and neat, and I literally just randomly, chose that you were going to be the one out of the group that was going to have the beams sort of directed at you. But I think it was interesting because Sataria clearly is the most kind of scientifically minded, right, of the crew. And so it was kind of like, well, this is fascinating. Not that, Sataria was enjoying having 2 laser sights on her, on her neck, but that was interesting to me to see that play out. And I also liked the attempting to heal Gamork thing. That's interesting to me, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out over time, because there have been several instances, of course, where you have healed Gamork, and Gamork still has not been 100% sure what to make of you. And part of this is, like, you all got to want it, right? Like, Gamork is very, like, not a wonderful bedside manner, as we were talking about with you, but not a wonderful bedside manner for Gamork either, regardless. But either way, it's going to be interesting, I think, to see how Sataria kind of plays into this stuff as we go further along and tries to navigate this strange Magitech forest and what lies beyond it. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
It's great. I guess we learned that like when Dr. Draxus isn't around to sort of like focus Sataria, she'll just like walk into things, which can be good or bad.
Yeah. Which Draxus just following along. Oh.
Yeah. Well, because usually she's following him because like he does seem like he's going somewhere, and she's like, I'm with you.
Yep.
So people can find me. Blue Sky is where I hang out. I'm also on the Discord for the Dungeon Scrawlers channel. I'm not streaming anything with them currently, but I am on their Discord. And right now I discovered, I didn't know, so I have minimal information. But the first book in my first traditionally published and then finished indie series, the Silver series, which is werewolves, but they're species, and I sort of looked at the anthropology of them as well as the adventure. So Silver is the first book in that, and the ebook is currently on sale for $2.99.
Hey,
and I think it's just in the US. I looked around, and then also just on Amazon right now. Maybe hopefully the other stores will pick it up. Tarnished, the second one in the series. If you like it, you can get the second one as well. It's also $2.99.
Very cool. Thank you, Prince Justin, for putting that link up there right now, so you can see all that.
If you are interested in that at all, or like what this Rhiannon, what does she write? I urge you to get those while they're on sale.
Awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, then you should definitely do that. Rhiannon's an excellent writer, so you should do that. And especially on sale. Now is the time. But thank you, Rhiannon. Good stuff today, and good stuff from everybody. I am excited to see what we get up to next month, beginning with a battle against a shambling cable mound creature stuff that we'll be dealing with, and then into the realm of Avasaria and what lies beyond. Will be very cool. Chat, can we get some love for the awesome members of the expedition from the Mysterious Peaks crew? Zach Clay, who will be back with us next month, but especially those with us tonight, LaShawn M. Wanick, Toya Kristen Finley, and Rhiannon Held. Thank you all. Great job, everybody, and I will see you folks next month.
Bye, everybody.
Bye for now.
Night.
All righty. Good stuff. And yeah, I am one of the great strengths of this campaign, obviously, is the world building that has been done in the campaign and the adventure that I have obviously played off of. But it was a very cool world to explore, and you really get a chance to see that here. Again, as I say, the Horizon Zero Dawn thing felt very accurate to me. It just, as I was reading, I was like, man, it's like this mixture. And I thought that was really neat. Like when I read mechanical shambling mound, like cables and roots, I'm like, ooh, shambling mound, but with mechanical things is definitely, I like it. I think it's a cool addition to stuff. So you'll have a chance to see more of it next month when we play more of this. But right now. We must head off into the sunset, as they say, although the sun has already set a long time ago. But great job from the crew tonight, and we will have the full crew back next month for that, which will be a good time. However, right now we are going to head out of here. Now, for those of you who missed this, I will be back on this channel on Tuesday. I will be doing D&D with viewers, which is Up the Beanstalk, which is the next one that we started playing. So I'll be there for that. And then over on GOG.com's Twitch channel will be Pen and Pixels. I should be playing more Avaland 2 as we are closing in on the end game of that. And then in the evening on Tuesday, still to be confirmed, actually, I believe, whether or not we're doing this, let's see, the 31st or the 24th. I think we're leaning towards the 31st. We're still waiting to confirm from one of our regulars, but otherwise we're still leaning towards probably the 31st for the Our Vocalist, but it's not 100% set yet. So it might be that this coming Tuesday will also be an Our Vocalist session. If not, then it will be the following Tuesday. We have 5 Tuesdays this month. That'll be the 31st, and that will be featuring more Citizen Sleeper 2. So I am excited for that. And then we will have Wednesday off. And then Thursday and Saturday will be Winter Burrow, which may be enough for us to finish playing Winter Burrow, which is exciting because after that, after we get done with Winter Burrow, we are going to be going on to the next game, which is going to be, as I look at my list, the next game after that, which is probably going to be finishing up Viewfinder, I think. And then I have to make a decision because what I was thinking originally about was I was thinking of maybe doing something like the game Esoteric Ebb, which I think is one of the games that's up there. Actually, let me just double check that quickly because I don't remember. I know one of them is Kathy Rain 2 that Echo nominated. And yeah, not a Esoteric Ebb. So Kathy Rain 2, Tactical Breach Wizards, and Tiny Bookshop. Okay. So yeah, so Esoteric Ebb I think I may end up using for the Our Vocalists after we finish Citizen Sleeper 2. So I think I may save it for that. Meaning that after I do possibly Viewfinder, which I also may do on GOG because it's a GOG game. So all of that very elaborate setup is to say that I think what I'm going to be playing next after I finish with Winter Burrow is going to be the Super Mario RPG. I've never played it. It was by Square. Everyone says that it's great. Never played Super Mario RPG, so I think I'm going to do that. After which I may end up playing the Starfield Star Wars Genesis mod, which is this very extensive mod that's almost its own game, which I'm thinking of doing. And then it's a little bit up in the air. I might do... I've been thinking about the doing a Heroes of Might Magic 3 Horn of the Abyss campaign. I might do that. I might do I've been thinking about doing a Suikoden 1-2 remaster playthrough. I do have Horizon Zero Dawn on there, so I'm thinking a little bit about that too. So there are other possibilities that I haven't totally, worked out in my head yet, but at least we know Winter Burrow, and then there's a good chance Super Mario RPG would be the next one that I would play, which is going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to that also. So yeah, that's what we're looking at in terms of schedule. Yeah, I love Heroes of Might and Magic so much. That's what we're looking at. But now it is time for me to rise up on out of here. But it is not super. It's not super late, but the time has come because I do have some grading I have to get done tonight as well. If you like what you saw and heard today, I hope you will follow the channel. I hope you will consider checking out our YouTube. We had a few people watching over on YouTube today, so thank you for that. ! ArfTube. I had some more people making comments about my Shadowgate, my Beyond Shadowgate playthrough. Please do subscribe to me over there. It's free for you to do that, but really helps us out. ! ArfTube. Discord is ! ArfCord. You can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Blue Sky is ! ArfSky, where you can follow me over on the microblogging platform of choice at the moment for me. And the website for this, arvaneleron.com. Financially, ! ArfShop, ! ArfTreon. That is the Patreon right there. Trying to get that back up into triple digits. We're going to be trying to revamp that over the next couple of months when I get some free time, he said with a laugh and a sob. But very cool stuff that you can get for yourself and for the channel, so please do that. Same thing with subbing to the channel. You get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere right across Twitch. So that is always helpful. We would love that very much. Let's see. Then on the publishing front, Exclamation Point Icarus, my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation Point Library is my Tales and Tomes, The Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And Exclamation Point Grey Shade, that's my Grey Shade IP. Grey Shade Renegade and Heretic, the Grey Assassin Trilogy, available from Athos Arts. Award-winning, critically acclaimed. You can also get the audiobooks of all three books, Grey Shade Renegade and Heretic, right now from our very own Trent Sparks. And you can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Grey Shade from our very own Brandon O'Brien, The Rising Tides, coming out from Alligator Alley as well in the next couple of months, so you can get that there too. And so, yeah, please do all those things, because that would be awesome. And as always, Exclamation Point BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation Point Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention, important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And Exclamation Point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal war with bravery and courage, and send the message that we'll do so for others in that situation in the future. And again, as I've been saying, thank you so much again. Much love and support and care to the people of Minnesota, and specifically Minneapolis, as they continue to fight against federal occupation and are winning, slowly but are winning, against incredible odds, and are doing so in inspiring us as they do so. So much love, prayers, good thoughts, and so forth coming to those people. I want to thank everyone who made this an awesome stream tonight. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Prince Justin, Shadowed Mage, Triffity Mats, for being here. Much love. Great work as always. Best mods in the business. Thank you as well to my Patreon supporters and subscribers, Prince Justin, Shadowed Mage, Triffid, Nonstop. And thank you to my wonderful viewers. Thank you to Jagtris. Thank you to JLC. It's good to see you, JLC. It's been a while, but I'm glad that you are doing okay. Thank you to RS Orden, and thank you to Wispy Song as well, who stopped by for being here. And special thanks tonight to the amazing crew of Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks. Thank you so much to Rhiannon Held. Thank you to Toy Kristen Finley. And thank you to LaShawn M. Wanick. We'll have Zach back with us for that next month. But that's going to be it for us. Thanks, everyone, so much. And I will see you, lovely folks. And remember, one other thing I did want to mention, sort of very quickly, if you were in the New York City area, don't forget about this. This is the Poetic Imagination in Our Time event that I am running with the three poets, C.S.E. Cooney, Ali Trotta, both of whom are familiar to the fantasy community, and Antoinette Brimbell, who is Connecticut State Poet Laureate. I am very excited to be moderating that conversation with them at my university, at St. John's University. That will be happening Monday at 2 p.m. It is free and open to the public. We're going to try to live stream it, not on Twitch, but via university channels. So we will try to do that. And if so, we'll try to post links if we can. But it's really considered an in-person event first. So if you're in the New York City area, would love to see any or all of you there as you join us. That would be great if you're able to do that. But that is going to do it for me. Thanks to everyone who made this an awesome stream tonight. And I will have a lovely Sunday. Also, go Huskies, both men and women. And I will see you lovely folks back here tomorrow. I'll see you lovely folks back here Tuesday for as we continue on with D&D with viewers and Up the Beanstalk. Until then, everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend, and everyone please be good to each other. Much love, and bye for now.